Hello, I'm Jim Kerr and welcome to Passion Highway. On this episode we're going to be reviewing installation of a ring alarm system in our 2020 Grand Design Momentum 397TH. So the TH stands for toy hauler, so this is a pretty big coach. We're about 43 feet, got a few different rooms, bunch of compartments, and we chose the ring alarm system because it seems to be the easiest to install. Most of the system is wireless, and it can cover our entire rig including fire, and we have the ability to self-monitor, which really works out well when you're traveling from city to city and you're not really going to be in a base station, but you still need to know what's going on with your camper. So let's get started, shall we? One of the first things you see when you walk into our coach is our LCI panel and our ring alarm system keypad entry system. So the keypad with the ring system can either be remote, where you can put it just about anywhere, and it has an internal battery. That's what this green light here is showing you. But it also has the ability to be hardwired into the system, and that's what we chose to do. So behind here is our radio, our Jaboni, which is our solar charge control display. And behind here is actually power. Now the radio has DC power. So what I did was, if you can roll around here and look, it's aligned in. So we ran a cable inside back here, which is just a standard USB cable. Installed a USB adapter that takes 12 volt DC and converts it to a USB connector. That's mounted inside of the wall here, and then we just plug the system in. The advantage of this is that the AC doesn't have to be running in order for the system to be able to get power and charge the panel. So now we're in our garage. And you can see here on the main door, so this is our bathroom, and the main power system to put the bed up and down and to turn on our lights. And then we mounted the ring alarm system keypad here, so when you come in from the outside through the back door, you still have the ability to disarm and arm the alarm. So when the slides are in, there's no way to pass through the coach from one side to the other. So if you're checking on the motorcycles in the back or something, you pop that door open, the alarm starts to chime wanting you to disarm it or arm it. You can come in here, type it in. Similar to what we did in the front is behind this wall, going down here into the switch bay, there's DC power behind this that runs all the DC lighting. So what we did was installed another one of the DC converters that goes from DC to USB, and then run the wire through the wall, fished it down inside of here, and then now we have another system where this is always charged. So as long as the coach has DC power, we're going to be able to use the alarm system and keep it up and running. While we're in the garage, let's go ahead and walk around some of the security features that we installed. If you notice up here in the corner, we have a passive infrared system that detects motion in the garage automatically. So it views the entire garage area, and if there's any sort of motion in here, it will automatically pick that up and set off the alarm. Before we get too far, we have a camera that's wired in here as well. So this is also a ring camera, and it sends a video feed. It's a very wide angle view, so it sends a video feed back to our main system, and we can see what's going on here, and all of this again is wireless. The camera itself is wired in. You can kind of see the wiring. We just ran the AC wire up and plugged it in behind the television itself. Now the cool thing about these cameras is they are designed to run on battery powered or to be plugged in. So what we did was we bought the AC powered camera that comes with the normal AC cable and a spare battery that sets up inside of it. And so what happens is when we have AC power, it keeps the battery charged. When the AC is off, like we're traveling down the road or whatnot, the battery itself runs the camera, so that way no matter what's going on in the coach, the camera's always up and running and recording. So in the back here, we have our 3-season doors, and there's a deck, of course, that leads out. So when we're camped somewhere, we usually leave this deck open. But one of the things that we want to be careful of is if somebody were to come up and enter in through the deck, we want to make sure that we know about that. If we are at home and we have the system armed, or we want it to just chime when this door opens, we know that somebody opened the door. And so to do that, all we did was put this ring alarm system in right here. This is just a magnetic contact. When you open the door, it automatically pings and notifies us that this back door was open, and that works day or night. Kind of continuing around, on the outside door that goes to the outside from the garage, we have the same sort of setup. Now what you might notice is this is on the other side of the door. So normally the doors open from this side. We installed ours on this side, so that way it keeps these magnetic contacts out of the way, so when you're coming in and out, you don't accidentally bump them and knock them off, because they are kind of low, because these doors are not super high. So again, when this door opens, it automatically triggers and lets us know with a chime. When the system is armed, this is considered an entry door, and it starts the timer to let us know that we have about 60 seconds or so to come in and disarm the alarm. Yeah, we can come in and take a look at the one other feature that we have set up here, which is the ring alarm camera. So this system is hardwired in through AC, and it runs in and it powers. There's an AC outlet inside of this cabinet that we plug the system into, and then it has a battery inside of this unit. And what happens is you put the battery in when the AC is connected. It's charging that battery, and it's running on AC. When the AC is disconnected, the camera continues to operate normally, running off of its internal battery, which are designed to last for weeks without any sort of external charge. So these cameras work very well. Okay, for those of you that might be wondering about the main base station, so it's great we have this alarm system, but where the base station is, what we did is we installed it way up on top of this cabinet. So let me climb on up there and show you what we did. Okay, it looks like a little bit of a rat's nest up here, but what's going on, this is the LCI main control system that was installed in the coach. So this controls the one control. This here is the cloud gateway. I'll do another video on how all of this stuff is set up. But you can see coming in here, there are DC lines that power this. Now the lighting is not that great, I'm sorry about that, but what you can see here is that here is the ring alarm. Now normally I have this double-sided taped down, but this is the ring alarm base station, and you can see it's actually physically wired in to Ethernet port inside of the LCI system. That way it doesn't rely on wireless to function. The LCI, this part up here is a cellular gateway, so it has LTE internet connected to it at all times, and there's a antenna up on the roof that allows us to have a pretty good signal reception at almost all times. Now the trick here, if you can see this, this wire back here, this little white wire here, is the actual power line from the base station. But I didn't want to be in a situation where it would only run on AC. For one, I don't have AC up on top of this cabinet. And secondly, I don't want to have to rely on the AC system to be able to run the alarm system. So what we did, and I'll put a picture in this video explaining this a little bit better so you can see it. But right here, this little unit right here is a DC to DC converter. So on one side of it, it's connected through this cable here, this one right here. That goes to the DC system that was connected into the DC over here. And then it steps down the power to this white line, which is what the ring alarm system ran on. So I knew what to buy basically based on what the power adapter that came with the ring alarm system said on the outside, how many amps it needed, what voltage it needed. And then I bought one of these, and I'll put a link to the description of this in this video so you know exactly what I purchased. And all you do is wire this into the DC 12 volt, normal 12 volt camper system. It steps down the power to here. You cut the cord, splice it out, and then you just put a couple of splayed connectors on there, connect it up, positive and negative, and then you have a DC powered ring alarm base station. This is the only place I've ever seen this done, so it's definitely worthwhile to do. And then the ring system runs as long as there's 12 volt DC power to the coach. Okay, you'll have to excuse our mess out here in the storage compartment. We're kind of packed up, getting ready to haul out. But if you notice right up here, it's kind of hard to see, is there's another passive infrared detector. So this is mounted on the wall. Behind this is all the electrical connections of the coach. Mounted it right here because this has a perfect view of outside this compartment. So instead of installing like a door sensor like a lot of folks do that could fall off and be knocked off very easily on these kinds of doors because cargo moves around, mounted this up at the top, and that way it sees everything that's coming out, coming along beside this. So as soon as this door opens up, if this system was armed, it would set off the alarm. During normal operation, I can have it set so it can chime or notify us whenever this door is open, which is very useful if you leave it open, but you know, you might be inside and then people might be walking around. This system, as soon as somebody walks by, it would trigger the chime inside. So while I'm back here, I'll go ahead and point out this smoke detector. So I installed this wireless smoke detector. This is a first alert smoke only detector in this compartment. They sell two different types of connectors, or smoke detectors. One is a CO and smoke, and the other is smoke only. We didn't want a CO detector out here because it can pick up exhaust fumes when we're cruising down the highway. But we do want to know if there's fire, and if we were to have fire, this would be the most likely place that it would start, because again, behind this wall is all the electronics. So the AC, the circuit boards, all of the stuff that powers the coach is right behind this. Fire could certainly start back there. And on the other side of this wall is where all the batteries are, which would be the other most likely place for a fire to start. Okay, now we're in our water bay. And just like we had on the other side, hopefully I can get up here so you can see this, we have a passive infrared detector installed here. Now this one is mounted on the cross member because I wanted to have a good visual view coming out of this door. And so the way that it's angled is it'll pick up any motion walking by this door just the same, but the tolerance, because I have these cases here, it would be a little bit too high to mount all the way up there to get a good view. But by mounting it on this cross member facing down, it's able to catch everything that's going on in this compartment. And again, I don't have to install a door sensor in order to get the same benefits of a door sensor. Okay, we're back in the garage again. I just wanted to show you, similar to the smoke detector up front, we also have one on the ceiling in this room. Now again, this is a smoke only detector. It's not a CO detector. The problem with these garages is they have vents. So let me show you this vent here. So these vents can be opened up to ventilate the garage, and it can pull exhaust fumes from a truck into this garage, or it could be residual from toys that might be in here. And a smoke with a CO can pick that up, and it could think that it's actually a CO problem and set off your alarm. So we don't really need CO detection back here. So this is just a smoke only detector. Okay, so while we're looking at smoke detectors, the final setup, there's two of them in here. The first one is in this hallway. This was the original OEM location, so we pulled out the smoke detector that was there from the OEM, installed a first alert. Now this guy is both a CO detector and a smoke. So if the furnace or something were to pick up or kick out a CO gas, this alarm would actually go off. And it's convenient because with this door closed, there could be some gas in here from the stove or something, and this alarm system would pick that up as well as the actual smoke itself. So in the bedroom, kind of similar, same exact thing. We have a CO and smoke detector in here. All of this again is tied into the ring system, so if any of these go off, it'll set off the ring alarm. And they're all wirelessly connected to each other through Z-Wave, so if one goes off, they all go off, letting you know that there's an actual fire. The next component of our ring alarm system ties into the smoke and CO detection, and this is what they call a listener. So this guy right here doesn't actually detect anything itself. What it does is it listens through these side ports to specific tones. So this is the OEM CO detector. So normally like propane could be low and it would set off this alarm. If this alarm starts chiming, this guy hears it, and then it sends a signal to ring and let us know that there's an actual alarm going off, some problem going off in the coach. Without this alarm could be sounding and there'd be no way that we would know. Since this is a DOT certified type of deal, you can't just remove this like you could the regular smoke detectors. It has to legally be in the coach, and it's wired, you can see with the green light, it's wired into the DC power bus of the coach itself. So the easiest way to handle that is to put this listener in here. If this guy goes off, this guy hears it, it sets off our ring alarm, and no matter where we are, we know that there's a problem. Okay, now I'm in the master bathroom. I won't bore you with the details for all of these in every location that we have them, but what you see right there, this little puck, is a water sensor, and it detects both water and low temperatures in case of a freeze. So what we've done is we've installed these at every sink, under the washer and dryer, and down behind the Nautilus system in the water bay. And so if anything starts to leak, this little device will pick that up and set off an alarm letting us know that there's a leak in the master bathroom or whatnot. It also detects cold temperatures, so as it starts to get freezing outside, you don't want your pipes to freeze, because really they shouldn't ever get below freezing because all of these bays are heated. But if for some reason there is an issue where the temperature is starting to fall off, this alarm will also trigger, letting you know that there's a cold freezing condition getting ready to happen in your coach, so you can check your heating system and make sure everything's okay, or disconnect your water so you don't rupture your water lines in the coach. Well, that's it, folks. That concludes the installation review of our ring alarm system in our 2020 Grand Design Momentum 397TH. I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions or comments, please post them in the comments section below. We'll do our best to respond to those. If we're not traveling, we'll be on the internet and watching for your comments and answer them as best we can. We're also going to be reviewing other upgrades to this coach. The internet, how we have this coach set up on both Wi-Fi for long range pulling in Wi-Fi, LTE, and other internet access into the coach. Going to do a detailed review on the LCI system, so how the One Connect system works and how you can remote control most everything in this coach from just about anywhere in the world. So if you want to see that, please click the subscribe button below. The subscribe button and the little bell icon beside it will let you know when we post our next video. It also really helps us out a lot. As you subscribe, it builds up our credibility on YouTube, and it lets us make more content like this. So thank you all very much. Again, my name is Jim Kerr, and thank you for visiting Passion Highway.